So here's the thing about me. With me being an upcoming author, with me being an indie author, I am very focused on the story when I read. And what I mean by that is, I really like to see how an author takes the pictures and ideas in their head and then puts them to page to make them come to life for us. That is no different when it comes to comic books. When I read comic books, I am very much focused on the story, not necessarily the artwork. And I understand that that might be very sacrilegious. Because don't get me wrong, I know that artwork can be creative, artwork can be beautiful, artwork can be creepy, artwork can be expressive, artwork can be all these things. But for me, I'm not a drawer, I'm not a painter, I'm not an inkist. That's not what I'm focused on. Me as the writer, in my life, am focused on the story. I have a very good friend of mine who's really into comic books, and he actually is an artist and talks about all the time. He and I have all these arguments about how he is very much focused on the artwork and not so much the story. So he chases down books that he wants to just have because the artwork was crazy. On the inside of the book or on the outside of the book, like that's what his focus is. He doesn't necessarily read the stuff he collects. Whereas for me, I'm very much into, I'm only really collecting what I want to read, because that writer has spoken to me in the stories that they tell in the world that they are playing in. And that doesn't mean to say I don't care about certain artists. Russell Dauterman, who did a lot of Jason Aaron's run on Thor, I love his artwork, and I believe he also did some on Doctor Strange recently, and then now he's gotten so big he's just mainly doing covers. So I love Russell Dauterman. So where am I going with this? What I mean to say is that when a comic book actually has artwork that catches my attention, I pay attention. So this is the hard part. I'm really trying to make sure I'm not covering any of this artwork as much as possible. But I'm talking about Storr's current run in her solo series. And just, I want to give everybody who is working on this book all the love in the world. Of course, giving love to the writer, Mireya Ayodele. I'm hoping I pronounced that right, because funny enough, Ayodele is actually a name that I chose for one of my recent characters in the last book that I published. And so I was really cool to see that a last name is something that I chose, because I do a lot of extensive work into how I name my characters. And so I try to find real names that exist and already mean something that's going to pertain to the character. And so far, we're only in issue 2, so we're just getting started in the story. And so I'll come back to that. You guys have heard me talk about Zeb Wells and how much I loved his run on Amazing Spider-Man. So I'm hoping by the time this Storm run is over, I will really be in love with how the world was set up for Storm. I did enjoy last issue where Storm had to deal with the fallout, wink wink if you read this issue, of a mutant basically killing a bunch of humans after the fall of Kroka. But you all just saw that beautiful cover that was done by Mateus. But what has really caught my eye in the Storm series is the wonderful artwork of Lucas Werneck, and then the colorist Alex Gunaris. If I pronounced that right, thank you. If I didn't, I apologize. But the work they are doing in this book, it is beautiful. First off, just look at how this issue starts with Storm in a beautiful white and gold costume. The costume design is astonishing, it's simple, it's elegant, but then just the way they have her hair against the full moon, ugh, beautiful. I moved me down a little bit, but then there's this wonderful, lovely splash page of the title, Death by Voodoo, and it's Storm in bed, waking up. Her hair just looks continuously gorgeous. I love when people know how to draw black hair. But then her silhouette, and then the foliage of her new home base that's floating around the world in the sky, just it's wonderful. It's gorgeous. And then just the subtle hint that something's wrong because there's a box of tissue there on the bed. Beautiful. I love it. And yes, I'm gonna be gratuitous. I love a good shower scene of our beautiful heroines, but this, I mean, look at these colors. Look at her hair in the shower. My hats are off to everyone who worked on this book, but this is gorgeous. Like, there's no other word for it. It is just simply gorgeous. So I wanted to share that with you all because, again, for me as a writer, I generally focus on the story, but every once in a while, someone's artwork, someone's coloring just catches my eye, and it's just like I have no words. You know, the writer gives the script and says, "Yeah, probably. Hey, Storm is taking a shower, and she has the weight of the world just on her shoulders." And then these artists just take that and run with it, and it's just it's beautiful. No other word to say it except for it's just beautiful. And then this last shot is just gratuitous for the people in my life. The panels right there, the last two right there in the middle, Storm feeding a baby hippo and a grown hippo with, no qualms to the fact that they're the most dangerous animal in the world. But my wife loves hippos, so I wanted to make sure she had the opportunity to see Storm, the goddess of thunder, just doing great things with hippos. And then for my boy Jesus, down there at the bottom, he loves capybaras. So, hey, great artwork, great, animals that are native to to Africa and to other, indigenous cultures around the world. And I just love that. It's great. So if you haven't yet, go pick up Storm's new solo series. Again, I'm still coming into the story and trying to figure out exactly where we're going to go. But when it comes to the artwork, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. So if you're the type of person that loves comics for the artwork, I would suggest picking this up.